Hi, Assalamualaikum semua. Welcome back to our TM podcast series. You're with me, Izni, your host today, and I have with me Dr. Sumitra Nair, Senior Director and Head of Sustainability Group Corporate and Regulatory. Dr. Sumitra, how are you today?
Very good, thank you.
So let's move on to our first question with Dr. Sumir. I know you mentioned just now, actually sustainability has been here for a while already, years. I think more than 10 years actually. Is it?
No, actually it's been around for more than maybe 70 or 80
Oh
years.
wow, longer.
Of
Okay.
course. I mean, there are many terms for what we are now calling sustainability. At one point it was called responsible business, sometimes you call it ethical business, sometimes you call it corporate social responsibility. Dia macam-macam nama kan. So today, the flavor of the month, the buzzword is sustainability. We don't know. I mean, then of course you have ESG kan. That's another word. So it's always evolving. But the concept is, how do you do business in a way that is responsible and in a way that is ethical? And I guess this has been around since almost the beginning of time. It's just that
repackaged.
Yes, repackaged, evolution, different ways. And of course, I think what is different now is that it has become something which has to be more measurable, something more substantiated. It cannot be just things that you just say, like lip service, or we care about the environment, and then don't care about it. Yeah. So, for example, I was on a flight last night. You asked me about my break. I was on a flight last night, and I was amazed to see that, despite this airline company talking about sustainability, there was now more plastic in their meal. Right. So if you have taken any flight, which I'm sure all of us, at some point have done, you would recall that when they give you bread, they just give it to you from a basket.
Yeah.
Right. But
now it's in
this
little
one,
packs.
no, it's in a plastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it's in the little plastic
packs. Yes,
it's
in a plastic, and then they used to just pour the water into a cup. Now they give you a plastic bottle. But the same airline talks about sustainability. So that's lip service. Now, if you really say you're doing sustainability and you want to do it in a way that is, integrated to your business, it cannot be lip service. It must be measurable. That airline must be able to say, how much of plastics have we done away with? How much of waste to landfill have we reduced or avoided? That's what has changed. I think the concept has been there. What has changed is now companies are expected to be more, they are expected to substantiate what they're saying with real measurable action.
Okay, so you've elaborated a bit about this understanding. Maybe we can delve a bit more. What does sustainability mean to you, and what does it mean to TM as well as the industry? So there's three
aspects. So I think for me it's quite clear, right? So at the end of the day, it's about how do you do your business in a way that is responsible and ethical. So while any business wants to continue to grow, to be profitable, to pay dividends to its shareholders, to keep increasing the salaries of its people, it must continue to grow, kan? So how do you do this in a way that is sustainable over a long term, while you minimize any negative impact or huge negative impacts on society or the environment? Yeah, so that's kind of like the concept. Now, if you take this into TM, what does that mean? It means, how do we become a digital powerhouse without two things? So how do we become a digital powerhouse and then continue to be that digital powerhouse in the long run? That's one. And how do we do this in a way that minimizes any negative impact on society or the environment? Which means, say, products or solutions that we put out. How do we ensure that we do it in a way that is responsible? For example, how do we ensure that children don't get addicted to games, online games? Or even, I think if you read the newspapers over the last few days, the government is talking about taking action on social media platforms for the impact that children are facing on social media, right? So 10, 15 years ago, you would not have even thought about it. You would have thought, tak apalah, it's like,
technology
surely the
advancement.
parents have to educate the children, or surely the school has to. It's somebody else's problem. It's not my problem. But today, it's not seen that way. Similarly, if you take scams, financial scams. In Singapore, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, is already taking action on telcos. On telcos, nonetheless, not even the financial wallets or whatever. Yes, banks are a part of it, but on telcos too, because they're saying telcos have a responsibility to help prevent these kind of scams, right? So, but again, 5-10 years ago, you would have thought, hey, why are we responsible? We're not responsible. It's like we're just providing the infrastructure, the platform. It's how people use it. It's up to them, right? But not anymore. So that's what it means. If for TM, if we are becoming a digital powerhouse and we want to stay a digital powerhouse, we need to ensure that we do our business in a way that is sustainable. So this means taking it into account into how we produce our solutions, taking into account into how we manage our operations, right? Making sure that our assets, for example, safeguarded against natural disasters, or even, to make sure that we continue to, as we continue to expand our network, energy consumption is going to increase because all this network equipment consume electricity. But, we've all known, if you've read the Belanjawan and if you have kept track of what's happening, subsidies are being rationalized to address the 60 billion subsidy bill that our country has. And so how we're doing that is by reducing subsidies on electricity, on diesel, things like that. So if we as TM continue to say, hey, tak apalah, it's okay, we continue to use electricity, we don't bother about, switching off lights, business as usual, then what's going to happen? It means our operating expenses are going to go up. It means our profits are going to go down. So how can we continue to be a digital powerhouse? Surely you have to be a profitable digital powerhouse, right?
Yeah.
Kalau tak, you can't be a power lah. You can't be powerful anymore if you're not profitable, right? So these are things we need to think about holistically, right? And that's what it means to TM. Now, from an industry point of view, it's more or less the same as what it means to TM. Some of the common issues, right? Because prior to this, I think, when we speak about sustainability or even ESG, that term, we always talk about it in the context of environment. Tapi actually, as in our industry and as a telco, the most important issues are not necessarily the environment. The environment is there. I mean, undoubtedly, it's important to all companies. It's hygiene, we have to do it. But for this industry, the topics that are more important when it comes to sustainability are our bread and butter. Things like network quality and stability, things like cybersecurity and data privacy. We collect humongous amounts of data.
Yes, so much.
As a quad play service provider, we collect data from home users, from business users, from government users, macam-macam we collect. So how are we going to safeguard that? That is important to all the telcos, all the digital players in our industry. The other issues are things like affordable and inclusive solutions. Making sure we want to become a digital economy. In TM we talk about building a digital Malaysia. To build a digital Malaysia, we must make sure that our products and solutions are accessible to as many Malaysians, are as affordable to as many Malaysians, especially Malaysians who are underserved or underprivileged. We must go out of our way to make sure that, number one, it's affordable. Number two, they know how to use it, right? So this is where I think efforts that, our friends in YTM are doing are very admirable because they're teaching children, they're teaching future talents, they're teaching MSMEs.
Yes, MSMEs as well.
How do you use digital? Because it's not enough just to be able to subscribe, right? Like if you take 5G, right? It's not enough just to subscribe to a 5G package. What does that really mean to you? How do you make sure that the additional bill that you now have is going to, is going to benefit you in a way that 4G couldn't benefit you? And to do that, you need the know-how. So that's where the skills are important. So work that our SME team does, work that our YTM does is also very important. Yeah. So you notice I haven't really said, let's save the environment, let's, go plant trees. I mean, those things, I guess, are important, and it's important to the whole world and it's common to all industries.
Yeah, I think that's the one common denominator when people say, what is sustainability? The first thing they think is, protect the environment, green,
recycling,
into the common, but that's not just it. There's a lot more other things that entails.
It's a lot more. So that's why, as an industry, these are common issues that, you will see recurringly, which maybe sebelum ni we don't even think about it as sustainability. We think that, hey, this is business as usual. Yes, it is business as usual. But it's making sure that you go that extra mile. Like what we said, financial scams. Maybe before this we said, hey, no, it's not our business. It's the bank's business or it's somebody else's business. But today, our stakeholders are saying, no, 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 no. If you are providing the
Service.
the connectivity, the solutions, you also have to be responsible about how people use that technology.